All right, guys, we're back. Another dish of talking preps. I got to start out with Sam Griner. You in Michigan this week, man. What was that like?
Man, it was an amazing experience. I tell you what, row A on the 50-yard line, there with my boy Jaden Smith, one of my good friends, Bart Noonan, West Boulevard Ministries, Armand, his mentor. We really enjoyed that experience in the big house. Over 100,000 fans. An amazing game, came down to the wire, interception at the end. So everything you want to experience at the big house in a game like that, it was really cool. It showed how much they really want Jaden, even though that his linebacker coach is no longer there. That they're really invested in him, and so it was really cool to see.
All right, Chris, let's go to these 1A games. You got two big games. There's Cam's Picks and Bowl. There's the rankings. What's going to happen when Mount Airy plays Robbinsville and West Columbus plays Tarboro?
Well, I've seen both those teams. I've seen Mount Airy and Robbinsville this year. Both of them are very good in their own unique ways. Had a chance to see Mount Airy come in the second half route over Eastern Randolph. I think that Mount Airy team is going to have a little bit too much speed. They're both great up front, but I think Mount Airy, I got to go with Cam. I like that pick. Tarboro, I think that's going to be a tough game. I told people last week that I thought East Bladen had enough to knock off Tarboro. I don't know if West Columbus does, but I think it's going to be a really good game. I wouldn't be shocked to see West Columbus win, but I think that's going to be a good one.
So is Tarboro going to win the state title, Chris?
I have a feeling, unless for some reason Robbinsville, we got Cutler Adams, he's still running for miles and miles and miles.
Yeah.
Unless he can do something with Mount Airy, I still think Mount Airy is going to repeat.
All right, here we go in the 2A. Shelby, Reedsville, Northeastern Clinton.
Shelby's a team that is surging at the right time. You go back and look at the film. They lost those 3 games early in the year, but let's look at who they played. Kings Mountain, Crest. They played a tough schedule. But this Shelby team is doing everything right. Coach Mike Wilbanks, I really like what he's doing. I kind of have to go with Cam's picks right there. Shelby's probably the smart pick. And then again, Northeastern, they stole victory out of the clutches of defeat Friday night. But the playoffs is about survive and advance. Beat a really good Whiteville team, 17-14. But I think they're just coming up against a different animal. Coach Corey Jones, that Clinton team is really good. Got to go with them.
I still think Monroe was the best team, and I don't know how Bunker Hill pulled that 1 point out at the end.
They got off to a 14-0 lead. I think Monroe just couldn't kind of get their bearings in that game. Then when they did, it was a little too late. 3A, Chris, this is Sam's favorite bracket. That's that Dudley team playing Hickory in the West and Northern Nash and 71st and East. And Sam,
I think Dudley may be the most. Yeah, I think Dudley may be the most explosive team. Let's look back at 2 weeks ago. They're playing J.M. Robinson. They're down 21-20, and next thing you know, you blink and they're up 42-21. They take advantage of mistakes, probably as good as any team I've seen on film this year. That's going to be a heck of a ball game. Congrats and just all the props due to Coach Joe Glass and all those guys up at Hickory. Saw them earlier in the year. They got that Stover kid at quarterback. They're really good. They got that big beast, number 34. I like that team, but I just think that Dudley's a little bit of a different animal. They just look different. They play different. I think they're going to be hard to beat. That 71st Southern Nash game, that's a rematch of last year's semifinals. Southern Nash won that one by 1. I think it can maybe be the other way around this year.
Wow. That big beast is going to show up in a little bit later when we do our Players of the Week, the Grice's Gems. All right, tell me about 4A, Chris. Nick Drew's defense got the job done. They're back playing Hoggard and Independence playing Weddington.
Well, I wish everyone could see, the Talking Preps private chat and saw me call out some of the guys saying, hey, I thought Cardinal Gibbons was going to beat Roseville last week. I know Cam totally disagreed with me in our chat. But, hey, you remember that Cardinal Gibbons team that we're seeing today is a completely different team than we saw early in the year. They lost half of their defense to injury. I think that's another team that is peaking at the right time. I really like Cardinal Gibbons in this one. I know Hoggard is a tough team, but I just think Cardinal Gibbons has enough to make it to the state championship. And then again, I kind of got to go with Cam right here. I think Weddington is probably just a little bit better. But look at that Indy team, Everybody on that roster is juniors and sophomores. I think that Indy team's a year away from being really, really special, and they may do it. I don't want to sit here and cast a nail in the coffin and say they can't win it. I absolutely think they can, but I kind of have to go with Cam on this one.
All right, Sam, we're going to bring in the guys a little bit later to talk about Independence and Weddington, but 30 seconds, your thoughts on this game?
Green versus green. I think that playing at home, Weddington has a huge advantage. I think they're very comfortable being there. But like you said, you're going against a team that's used to being the road warriors this whole playoffs. So I think it's going to be an exciting matchup. I'll be there Friday to check it out. But it's going to be another slobber knocker. It's not going to be a very high scoring game. I think it'll be in the 20s, and whoever gets to 21 first, I think, wins the game.
All right. Well, we'll be back. We're going to take a break after we see who Grice and Grinder picked as the North Carolina Players of the Week. The Grice's Gems. I did give away to one kid from Hickory. We'll drop that right here.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, we are getting closer and closer, Grinder, to that state championship Friday and Saturday. We are headed into the regional finals here, Grinder, and you know we have some big-time performances we've got to talk about. Hey, let's take it west of Robbinsville. A guy that, if you've watched our show, you know who this guy is. That's right, it's Cutler Adams out of Robbinsville. 27 rushes he had on last Friday for 282 yards and 4 touchdowns in a big 44-14 win over Northrow Wynn. This guy does it on the track as well. You can see that sub 11-second 100-meter dash speed. He's out of the camera. Those Chris Johnson touchdowns, we used to call them. If you remember the running back in the day, you would see nobody in the camera when he scored a touchdown. Let's bring it a little bit closer, though. Let's go to Cleveland County and get a guy that we've had before, definitely an alum here, Zay Bridges out of Shelby. Had 6 passes for 141 yards and a touchdowns and 5 rushes for 75 yards and 2 scores in a big comfort behind 37-30 victory over Forest Hills in the 2A quarterfinals. Talk about what you see with Zay Bridges, Griner.
He's got elite speed, but the quickness that goes with it, the one-cut stuff, I love one-cut guys. Like, if you put your foot in the ground, you get vertical now, that really threatens the defense. I think that's his best attribute as a receiver. That's why they give him the reverses and things like that, because as soon as he puts his foot in the ground, he gets vertical and he shows that speed. Give him that.
Impressive. Give him a little, he's a guy. He's like some of those Duke point guards back in the day. He's been playing for 7 years, no doubt. Hey, but let's go out to Raleigh. We got Gannon Jones out of Cardinal Gibbons. This sophomore quarterback was 18 of 31 for 297 and a touchdown in this big 28-21 win over Rollsville High School in the 4A quarterfinals. He hit Chet Yardley, was his favorite target, who had 10 catches for 200 yards and a touchdown. Griner, Alex talks about Nick Drew's defense. Well, Bill Lee, the offensive coordinator, said Gannon Jones is one of the best signal callers he's had at his time in Gibbons, which is high praise considering you've had state championship quarterbacks come from there. I'm excited to see this guy continue to progress. He looks like he's going to be a problem and keep Gibbons in the running for a good while.
High level throws too. Those are high level throws on time. It was that was elite stuff there. 3 yards away from that bonus stuff for fantasy. 3 yards away from the bonus.
Oh, he was. Hey, let's go to Hickory. We know Hickory's had a killer year this year. We've highlighted Stober. We've got Isaiah Lackey this time. The big 220-pound junior ran for 100 yards and a touchdown on 14 carries in Friday's 28-16 win over West Henderson. Hickory is in the regional final round for the first time since '96, and he is a big reason why. This is a barreling big-time back right here, Griner.
Yeah, get behind the shoulders, come get some. The dude only needs 14 carries because the other team was so getting punished that they literally waved the white flag. They said, no more carries. The guy's too much of a low. We don't want no more of this. We'll give you the game. 14 carries is all he needs.
Oh, 100%. Let's go out down east. Reagan Prenti from Hoggard in a 51-35 win over Cleveland in the 4A quarterfinals. Prenti had 13 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. Hoggard had 9 sacks in this game, and he was a big reason why quarterback Jackson Bird for Cleveland was uncomfortable all night. He was a big-time player. We've got to salute to you, Reagan. You have Hoggard in the regional finals here. That's going to be an exciting game against Cardinal Gibbons. But now we've got to go to the man who got the call, and we had to get it in one of the biggest rivalry games that we had in this area. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right, Bryce Lofton. We had to give it to you. And again, you had a pretty good game, but the biggest part you had was that last defensive play of the game. That's right, you had the game-sealing interception. Again, this wasn't for the trophy, as your coach said. It's just a regular, fourth-round game. But that game-sealing interception against Butler on their home field sends Independence to its first regional final in 14 years. I've just got to talk about, again, you come into this game, y'all lost the first game. I know you heard the talk. Like, everybody acting like, y'all going to get run over again. Talk about getting that interception. You see Coach Rankin there give you the big-time hug. What did that moment mean to you?
It meant everything. Just the week we had, the progression we had. We came through the playoffs. We played all these big teams, but Butler was by far the biggest because we lost earlier this year, and just the preparation that went into it. And to know you caught that interception, you go on the sideline, that big hug pretty much sealed the game, and let the whole team know like the game was over and we came back and we from being underdogs and we won the game.
All right,
I
I got
love it.
one question, and then I'm gonna kick it to Griner. So I always ask a crazy question. What's your favorite post game meal?
My favorite post game meal. I mean, oof, it gotta be something. Ooh, that's hard.
Ooh,
Post game. This man said he said post game, not
that's
even
the post game.
pregame.
What you eat? You
He
had an
said
interception. What you eat?
after the victory,
What
where
did you
you going
eat
to
after
eat? Is
you
it
had the big
Waffle
time
House?
victory? Well, yeah, did you go
Yeah.
Waffle House? What'd you eat?
Well, we going to Waffle House most of the time. Waffle House or Dunwell's, one of those two. But most of the time, yeah, Waffle
I
House.
like it. Those are two solid choices. Well, I got to turn it over to our defensive side of G&G. Griner, talk to this defensive player about the great plays he had. I'm turning it over to you.
Bryce, man, I mean, amazing game. I was there for the first half, and then I had to get up out of there. It was my daughter's birthday, but I really was missing it because the vibes were amazing in that game. It was a slobber knocker. And just going back and your DB view, what's your favorite coverage to be in?
My favorite coverage probably be cover 4. I just love the freedom that it provides because you can from cover 4 you can play off or you can play up and just it lets you play with the offense, like you can show something or you can show what you're actually doing. It gives you more freedom to really do what you want to do and not allow the offense to really know what you're doing.
I love it. Really good read coverage. It takes a lot of time to develop that and to be great at it. And you guys are doing a great job. One more question. I see you with the single digits. I mean, you got to be a dude if you're wearing a single digit. I'm not the biggest fan of number 6, but I know there's got to be a meaning for you. Tell me why you wear number 6.
Well, I used to like rock number 2, but coming in my freshman year, I got put number 6. So then, and I just ever since then, it meant something to me to wear because I like to wear the same number through my high school career. So wearing number 6 it means something to me since my freshman year.
Well, we look forward to next week, my man. If you get a couple of pick sixes, we can say, well, they give me 6 because it's always every time I touch it, it's a pick 6.
Hey, quick
Sir,
6.
sir.
Hey, well, Bryce, like we do the deal, and your boy Jalen Jones can tell you if you have a big time game, you run the ball, he takes care of business. If you get some picks on the other side, I'm gonna bring you back on here. Deal?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a deal.
All right, sounds good. Congrats to you, Bryce. What a game!
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. Well, again, we're getting closer and closer to having more big-time games. If you feel like you have a Grice's Gym worthy performance, reach out to me at Coach J Grice. Reach out to at Sam Griner. What is it? At Coach Sam Griner?
Coach Sam Griner. There you go. Okay, watch out.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Hey, we got to get you on it. At Langston Works Jr. and at Observer Prep. So we're adding Coach Griner because we've got to make sure we get all these big-time performances because someone's going to take their team to the state championship, and we want to know who it is. But as we always say at this time, Griner, if you ball,
you'll get the call.
Yes, sir. See you next week.
Deer Park is celebrating its 150th anniversary. Let's take a look back.
Deer Park? That's good water.
You can taste how pure Deer Park is.
Deer Park, that's good water.
Filtered naturally beneath the earth
for a crisp, refreshing taste.
Deer Park.
Deer Park.
Deer Park. Deer Park.
That's still good water.
After 150 years, there's only one thing left to say. Deer Park, that's still good water.
How did you all get in here?
All right, guys, we're back on Talking Prep. So I got Gary and Dale and Alex and Cameron. And I got a question for you, Alex. This is regional championship week. Are we right to have these at home fields or should they be in neutral sites?
Neutral sites all the way. Today is not the day for us to expound upon the absolute fraud, falsity, and non-issue that is home field advantage, whatever that is. We all know that's a farce and doesn't exist, but this isn't the day to expound upon that. Regional championships should be held at neutral sites because of situational predictability. They put all schools and any classification in a position coming into the state playoffs of knowing the 3 or 4 potential sites at which a game could be played. And then you can factor in whether it's centrality, whether it's parking and venue accessibility, whether it's locker rooms, whether it's all of those details that go into a game experience. And yes, that just reaffirms as well that regional championships will have neutral officiating crews. But creating a situation where you know coming in that it won't be a site-to-site question of what's going to happen with parking, what's going to happen with seating, what's going to happen with travel for one team. That you know that everyone's going to be in the same boat, and then it also just adds to the total game experience for the student athlete as having that traveling experience a weekend before a state championship.
Just a
That's
bigger,
cultivating a memory.
just a bigger event.
It's a bigger experience and cultivates a memory forever, which is part of the cornerstone of education-based athletics.
Dale, you agree with that?
Partly. I've been an advocate of playing regional championships at other colleges that other than the Tobacco Road schools. I think the first concern would be, do the schools want it? And actually, I don't think we're going to even see games next year in the championships. We're probably going to see them at home fields, but I kind of think we're talking about things we'd like to see. That's probably not going to happen. But if the schools wanted it, I think there's a lot of positive things. Kids getting to play in bigger venues, uh, potentially better access for fans.
Mm.
Games like last week.
So you wouldn't have that Butler game on that Cal
Well,
last week. You could have it on the turf.
No, last week's game, back in the day, it would have been played at Memorial Stadium.
Yes.
And I know the game was sold out, and I saw people because I got there at 6:30, so I was not early, but there were people that were getting turned away because the game was sold out. So Butler could have made more money had they played it at potentially made more money. I'm not sure what Memorial costs today.
40 grand. 40 grand.
Is it 40 grand?
Yes.
It's gone from, what was it, 15?
I don't know what it used to be, but it's 40.
It used to be 15.
It's 40 now.
40 grand. So maybe not. Maybe they played it at the right place. I would have liked to have seen more people attend that game, and maybe the same kind of situation this coming Friday. But the concern or the question would be, how do you predict where you're going to play games? Because you'd want them to be close to, you could just pick a place like, all right, we're going to play the Western Regional Finals at App State. You could do something like that, but then you might have both teams from Mecklenburg and Union County. So you probably want to look at setting up, I think that's what Alex was saying, selecting a few venues and then find what works central as we get to that week.
What they're doing in basketball is putting everything in Lawrence Joe, Winston-Salem, kind of the center of the state. They're going to play the regionals and the state championship all in 1 week. And I think if you put it in the center of the state in Greensboro, I think that could work, east and west, and let everybody see everything. I think that could be kind of good. There's plenty of stadiums there to have it between Wake Forest and UNCG and A&T. You have enough college facilities to have it there, and then move on to states after that.
But Charlotte's center of the state too. If you look at where people live, the populations and where they come from.
Sort of, kind of. But it's definitely an interesting debate. But we're going to be back. We're going to talk. I want to get you guys' thoughts on the Big Independence Weddington game. But before we do that, I want to hear from both coaches. Bryce Griner got a chance to talk to Andy Capone and DJ McFadden. So we're going to drop those. We'll come back and talk about the game.
What's going on, everybody? Talking Preps, it's big time games only this time of year. And of course, we've got to bring a coach who it seems like he only is used to big time games this time of year. He was the 1 seed. I think it's probably the first time a 1 seed's made it all the way. But you guys already know by the face here on the video that we have Coach Andy Capone here, the head coach of Weddington High School. And Coach, we've got to start, even though we're here now, we've got to go back and start at week 1. You guys whooped up on Cox Mill, and you almost look angry after that game. Like, y'all need to get on this bandwagon. You let everybody know from week 1 where you guys were and where you thought you guys were. And now here we are 2 weeks from the final game of the year, and it seems like you're exactly where you thought you were. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I thought all along we had a really good team, and I think first game of the year, I think emotions fly, and we feel good, but we're still here. We're thankful to be playing, and we got a really, really good group of guys.
Definitely.
I love it, man.
And I think, looking in this situation, I mean, you take an independence team, we've been talking about that, me and Grinder been battling on coach versus coach about guys and teams getting in the game. They're the 23 seed, I think is the correct number. You guys are coming in with a matchup that I don't know if everybody predicted or thought that you would see them. Could you talk about, I know you've kind of had your early look into independence and what you see in that game and just maybe just early thoughts on, how you guys plan to be successful?
Well, no one picked us versus Independence in the Western Final. I know that. I mean, Coach McFadden's got them rolling. They're playing probably as good as anybody right now. They're road warriors, so we pride ourselves on winning at home. It's 18 straight now. They pride themselves on being road warriors. So it's going to be a battle. I mean, it's just 4A state semifinals in the West. It's a bloodbath. I mean, everybody knows that. So they're here for a reason, and they're very good at what they do, and Coach does a great job. And, for us, it's going to be a 48-minute battle. And I feel like we're battle tested with who we've played, throughout our whole year. And we're excited for the opportunity, man. It's two teams in the West playing. We're one of them. So we're thankful, but, job's not finished. I've said it all week, and I'll continue to say it all week.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to be a common denominator of Weddington being in the West Regional Finals. I mean, like 2 years in a row, you guys jumped from the small 4A to the only 4A now, and it just you're adapting to the bigger schools is just amazing to me. Everybody knows you as this offensive guru, amazing head coach. I'm curious to know, like, how involved are you defensively?
Well, we actually jumped from big 3 AA to 4A, so
that's true. My bad.
And I
My
remember
bad.
what people said: we ain't gonna win in 4A. So I let my defense do defense. I mean, I have one of the best defensive coordinators in the state, John Hall, and I've had him since I got the head job 6 years ago, and I hired him from he was the DC at Forest View High School, and I told him I wanted to do what we do at Weddington from former head coach Tim Carson, and he said I need to learn and get better, and it starts with him, and then Mike Newman is our kind of guy that's been with us for years, and he's our D-line coach, and then our whole staff is great. So I mean, I know what they're doing, but I let them do them. And I think that's the easiest way. I don't micromanage any of my guys. I just make sure we're doing the right thing, and I have 100% faith in them, and that's how I feel like, how I want to be a head coach and not feel like you got to be over everything. They stop people. I believe in what they do. They believe in what they do, and our kids believe in what they do, and our kids come out and play hard. So, we got a great offensive staff as well. I focus on them in the meetings, but Coach Hall and his staff, they got things rolling, and we're going to need another big performance from them.
I hear you, man. Well, you're one of the most well-rounded teams, I think. I ain't gonna toot my own horn, but I was on the bandwagon from the get-go. Okay, I was on the bandwagon. Just competitive spirit, offense, defense. You guys are going against every day in practice. Just curious to know, like, even late in the year, are y'all's practices still competitive on like a Tuesday, Wednesday? Are y'all getting after it?
Yeah, we do some good on good. I mean, I feel like we have to. It's you always run that risk of injury versus non-injury, but we got to be the more physical team every Friday, and I think that's something that we make sure we do. So it's not long, it's not it's quick whistle, but we get our first line in there versus first D line. We get first D line in there versus first O line, and best on best as much as we can, or not as much as we can, but probably 8 to 12 plays Tuesday and Wednesday, and I think that's something that we feel like does a good job for us, throughout the season and really late in the playoffs.
Coach, I'll ask this final question. I mean, I'm kind of in I feel like I know a little bit about you guys, but I definitely with a lot of our people in our viewing area that always see what you guys have going on from the outside looking in, you always get that question like, how is Weddington doing this? How are they so good? Like, just that elite ability. I've always coined it kind of, with what I've said is ruthless efficiency for what you guys have done. Can you kind of let us in some of that secret sauce? Like, what is it that makes you guys that good?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything to do with the staff. Our kids are good football players. I mean, I'm serious. Like, it used to be the whole thing on Weddington was just a bunch of disciplined guys, and we're still disciplined. Maybe not as much as we've been in the past, but our kids are good football players. I mean, they really, really are. And I think the biggest thing is every Friday they play extremely hard. I know a lot of coaches can say that, but you see these pictures and all these videos that people, because everyone and their mom has a camera now, and just the passion from our kids, and just know how hard they want to play and how much they want to represent for the W on their the side of their helmet means a lot. But we believe in our system. We've ran our system for years since I was an assistant with Coach Carson and what he built. And for us, we just wanted to continue to make it better and better and better. And we've won state championships. We've been undefeated and won state championships, and now we're in the 4A, the biggest one right now. And we got a chance to go get to the state championship. So we were here last year and we fell short. So as much as the Grimsley win was huge for us in our program, we're still now in the semis. So we still got hopefully 2 left, but we got to worry about this one, and we got a really hot team coming in. So the biggest thing is that I know our kids for 48 minutes are going to play extremely hard, and at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for.
Definitely. No, Coach, you can play, give all the humility and all that, but I see the fire, and I've seen that fire with you on the sideline, which makes you and your staff one of the best staffs that we've seen. You as one of the best head coaches in this state that we've continued to see. So again, kudos to you, and definitely good luck. Weddington Independence, it's going to be on you guys' home field. That's going to be a rocking environment for the right to go to the state championship. Best of luck to you, Coach, and definitely appreciate you for coming on. What's going on, Talking Preps? Hey, big time games only. I keep saying that. We keep talking to big time coaches, and we have to bring in, you already know who we're bringing in, the guy that went viral this week, the big time victory. Let's go ahead and bring the man, the myth, the legend in here. One of the best young coaches, one of the best coaches, period, in the state. Coach DJ McFadden. Hey, second week in a row. It seems like this is good luck. Talking to you, get a dub. Talk to us again. Let it happen. So how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Glad to be back, man. It must mean we're doing something good if I'm back.
That usually does.
No
we
doubt.
got to start with the obvious here. Talk about, again, the difference. Like, you play a team twice. Of course, you have the infamous quote of playing a team twice and how hard it is or is not to beat them. Talk about what some of those differences are, that you guys implemented in this second game, and how you just made it an old-fashioned slugfest to get that victory.
Yeah, that was part of our game plan, man. We thought we needed to slow the game down a bit. That's a good defense over there. And I thought in the first game, I had us going at a tempo that was too fast, and we weren't getting many first downs. So that was part of the plan this time, to kind of grind it out a little bit, limit the first downs, and play defense. I mean, we thought we played well in the first game, but we just didn't play our best. We had a lot of missed tackles. We didn't get lined up a few times to kind of caught us off guard, and then we had some bad alignment issues first game. So we just thought if we can clean that up, we could play good D. We felt good about our secondary against their receiving core. Again, we just felt like the first game we just didn't play our best. So credit to the kids, man. They came out hungry. They came out with a little chip on their shoulder. They got tired of hearing, coming to the game, we don't have anything to lose, as if we don't have seniors who that could be their last game. Like, that ain't everything. So we kind of took some things personal, man. And, it's probably going to be much of the same this week. We know everybody's against us, so we're excited.
I got to ask the question, got to give you the opportunity to explain. We saw it in the Observer, went viral. I'm over here having to tell people, this is what this was and this. So you got to explain to the people, because some of these people don't remember. That's the part I've realized. Like, some of these people don't know Charlotte football history. Talk about that tweet that said puppy dogs, because you put it everywhere. You put it everywhere. Let the people know what it is and how it's an ode to your coach, and then just go into that. You got the floor.
No, I mean, it's just friendly rival between us and Butler. I mean, we go back and forth all year long. They tweet little I all year long, and me and Hells go back and forth. And they know I can take it, and I know they can take it. So it just comes with the rivalry, comes with the territory. That was an old tweet or old comment made by TK back in the old rivalry days. And these last couple games have that feel that it's kind of getting back to that. So, yeah, we wanted to set a tone. It was a good win for us. They beat us at the end of the year, but, they had the opportunity to come back and kind of end their season. Kind of was a very sweet moment for the program. So we just wanted to kind of, put them in the kennel for 365, and, we're moving on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they keep the trophy, but you're chasing the ring. I feel you, brother. I love it, man.
We'll talk about the
Um,
trophy later. I don't know.
hey, I got to tell everybody, getting to the X's and O's of football. DJ, I would consider, you're definitely one of the best coaches there is in North Carolina, definitely Charlotte area. I think your greatest attribute, and I want you to enlighten everybody about it. I think you're the best script guy there is. A lot of offensive coaches, head coaches, they're going to script maybe the first 10 plays, 15 plays, or something of that nature. I think personally you are the best there possibly is at it. Can you kind of go into the strategy of how you go that, without getting into the game plan this week?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's based on what we can do, what we do well. We try not to get too much outside of ourselves week to week. A lot of teams like to add in a lot of game plan plays. We kind of stick to what we do well, and we try to find our matchups, and we try to exploit those instead of trying to so much, like I call it, play 11 on 11. We try to create matchups to where we're more so playing 2-on-2 or 1-on-1, and we go from there. But it's all based on what we do well and the matchups that we see. And credit to our staff too. We got good staff. It's not just me. I got some good coaches on that offense side of the ball. That kind of put a lot of work into that and opinions and things that they see. So we got a good staff, and everybody has a hand in that.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot right here, brother. Not gonna ask you about the game because I know personally can't really talk about that in that regard. But you have one coach as your MVP outside of yourself right now. Like I know you're gonna be like, there's a whole lot of them. I know they're all doing a good job. What coach right now is just digging deep? He might be spending them extra hours. He's doing stuff you didn't even know he could do. That he's just doing an amazing job on your staff. Highlight one of your guys.
It's got to be our O-line coach, Cameron Ray. Even what he does off the field too. He does a lot behind the scenes with the equipment.
Get the shoe out of the washing machine or the
right. You're crazy. Oh yeah, that is right. But no, he runs our weight room too, man. And like I said, we started off with a young group. He had the toughest job out of everybody to kind of get those 4 new guys kind of up to speed. And I mean, you look at the teams we play. I mean, the physicality of the D lines we play against, man, that group's been holding it down for us all year long. They're gonna have to do it again because it's probably by far the best D line I think we've played all year long. They're incredible over there. So they gotta do it again, man. They gotta do it again. But I think Coach Ray is probably that MVP coach.
Big time stuff. I agree, man. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely, Coach. Well, Coach, we are glad to have you on again. Like you said, if we have you on this late in the year after Thanksgiving, something's definitely Coach. Salute to you again. Great season so far. Couple more weeks if you're able to be so lucky. So we wish you the best of luck. We'll probably see you this coming Friday out at Weddington.
I appreciate you fellas, man. Looking forward to it.
Green versus green, brother. That's what I said the other guy. What's green gonna prevail? All right,
I
man.
like it. All right, bro.
All right, guys. We heard from both coaches. Cam, what's going to happen in this football game?
It's going to be one of the best in the state. You got Weddington and Independence both playing at probably their highest level all season. Independence defense coming off a stellar performance against a Butler team who was my pre-playoff pick to win the whole thing. Team scoring 40 a game. They held them to 7. So Coach Capone's going to be up for the challenge though. That Weddington team. They got the number 1 seed for a reason, and I mean they've shown why they are the number 1 seed in the 4A West. So I think it's going to be a great game. I look for it to be somewhere in the 20s to low 30s, the winning score. But you saw my picks earlier. I picked Weddington in an absolute dogfight.
Barry, does Independence start looking like a team of destiny when you win all those road games in a row and win the way they've won and go up and beat with Tiger the way they did?
It brings a team closer together each week that they continue to play. I think what Independence showed me Friday night is they can play a wide open, ball in the air, spread type game, or they can play a slobber knocker. And they played a slobber knocker with Butler, and they were satisfied with 3 yards in a cloud of mud because the surface was awful. Yeah. And they've proven they can play different styles. They can defend the pass. They had a very strong running game against Butler. As I said early in the year, Butler Weddington was the best high school game I saw all year.
Right.
And I don't think it'll be as high scoring as Cam thinks. I think it'll be in the teens, and I think the team that has the ball last will win.
Dale?
Yeah, for Independence to win this game, they're going to have to play. They played lights out Friday night, and had they played at the same level they played the first time these two teams met, I don't think they win the game. Both of these teams have great defenses, and thus I'm too kind of go on the same thought that this game's going to be a high teens, low 20s. If somebody breaks 20, that's probably your winner.
So you agree with
I
Sam?
think I picked Independence. There's a few things. I wish I had taken a picture of DJ's face when he turned and looked at the fans Friday night. You could have seen the expression he had, and I need to ask Spencer if he got a picture of it. Just to see the reaction that he gave the fans was pretty. It was pretty astounding, pretty dominant. I think these guys have the potential.
Can you imagine the reaction if he wins this coming Friday?
Oh well, it was
it was kind of funny when I went down on the field. You know, some of the Butler coaches were like, "Who'd you pick? Who'd you pick?" But the Independence coaches, when they saw me, they was like, "We gonna win. Like, we don't care who you pick." They knew I picked them, but
right.
They were like, "We're gonna win." They were that confident they were gonna win that game.
Oh yeah.
I had 3 Independence coaches come up to me.
This week's picks be coming out there on this week, so we'll see what Gary and Dale and Cam all picked, and we're going to take a break right here. We're going to come back, coach versus coach. Make sure to get yourself some Deer Park water.
Deer Park is celebrating its 150th anniversary. Let's take a look back.
Deer Park, that's good water.
You can taste how pure Deer Park is.
Deer Park, that's good water.
Filtered naturally beneath the earth
for a crisp, refreshing taste.
Deer Park.
Deer Park.
Deer Park.
Deer Park.
That's still good water.
After 150 years, there's only one thing left to say. Deer Park, that's still good water.
How did you all get in here?
All right, man, here we are that time of day. Let's lock the door.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome.
All right, Sam Griner, Jonathan Grice. Hey, Sam, I want to pooch kick it today. You going to fair catch or you going to defer?
I'm going to fair catch this bad boy right here. I'm going to fair catch.
So you going to go first?
No, I could go. I don't know if you remember the old fair catching. He never fair called it. The guy at Georgia Tech that had the Uno bar, the Rhino. His last name was like Rhino. You remember? I might just run with it. Come on, give me the ball.
All right, let's go.
Give me the ball.
We're going to shake it up. Sam Griner's going first today. Is Dave Tepper too impatient with Frank Reich? Is this more of an indictment of Dave Tepper or Frank Reich?
It's definitely Tepper, like an indictment of him, because he should have hired Steve Wilkes, and maybe we should have rethought about I don't know who overall made that decision. I'm going to say he did, about giving up all the picks. And I think, our quarterback will be a great quarterback, and there's no doubt about it. But that was just not the right move to go. You should not got rid of Steve Wilkes. We said that from the get-go. Frank Wright, if you really wanted him, he just got fired. You could have hired him as just our offense coordinator and paid him well enough, and you would have got the best of both worlds if that's what you really wanted. So that was a bad decision. Now, Frank Wright needed to go. I don't think he was the answer. I don't think his temperament is the right for the Carolina Panthers. They were built upon defense, and you had this guy that was more of a soft-spoken type guy, and I just don't think he was going to get us to the next level. Now we're going to have the number one pick overall pretty much, and we won't have it.
Oh, man, you said the answer is Frank Wright. Like, he hasn't finished a season. Like he literally has not finished a season as a head coach in the National Football League. I mean, that's horrible. Like twice. We talk about Josh McDaniels and how he's not a great coach and all this thing. He at least made it multiple seasons. This guy has not made a full season in charge. He's so bad that teams and owners are looking at this guy and saying, "Get him away from my team immediately." And it's happened 2 times in a row. This is a bad coach. And again, I can understand. Again, we know Tepper's not the greatest owner, but certainly you can look at a situation and realize you would hope that you see a guy this bad. But I couldn't even have predicted that this guy would not make it another full season, because I think that's incredible. I don't know if a coach has ever done that in the history of the National Football League. This is one of the most historically bad head coaches that we have ever seen. It has got to be Frank Reich. I don't know if you could choose a worse head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
Frank might
the
be the
worst
best
head coach.
backup quarterback in NFL history, though.
That could be true. That could definitely
and
be true.
he's probably pretty good offensive.
I really would have a lot of respect for Tepper if he looked at himself in the mirror and he said, "Okay, look, I made a mistake. This was my mistake. I won't make this mistake again." Because I think he's a competitive guy. I'd like to see that fire and letting him know that he was wrong, but he's gonna fix it. I'd love to see that.
I think it'd go a long way with fans. All right, Coach Christ, I'm going to stick around with you round 2, coach versus coach. Is South Carolina football still better than North Carolina football, or has North Carolina caught up?
Arizona is still better. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, we look at some of the best football programs. I mean, we started it this year. This year, we took one of our best football programs in Providence Day, played at the Carolina Panthers Stadium, and if it wasn't for some little bit of newspaper cleanup so Langston didn't have to write a blowout article, we would have seen Providence Day wipe the floor with Northwestern. And I mean, again, Northwestern is one of the best programs historically in South Carolina. I think you're seeing now that you've got so many good programs. Butler went down, beat Langston Hughes. We talked about that. One of the best wins in the Southeast. The perennially good Huff that continues to do well, Grimsley. We're seeing a lot of big-time teams here that are going to other places, going to other states, including South Carolina, and getting victories. We look at Weddington pushing a Dutch Fork team, oh, by the way, that's in the state title game again, pushing them to the limits. And where are they? In the Western Final, just as they should be. So when I look at North Carolina football, I think people are need to realize we may have crept past kind of on the low, very Peter Griffin, Family Guy style, kind of creeping right by them. But North Carolina football is in the lead right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. North Carolina's in the lead. Now, if you said facilities and overall football programs of how they invest in the program, it's South Carolina by a mile.
Yeah.
But you're just talking about just football programs of winning games. You had 2 programs, not just one. You had Weddington as well as Huff go down and beat Dutch Fork, which probably will win the state championship again. He's a great, and they're a hard team to beat. You had that happen. You had Providence Day. So, like right there, that's evidence to show that 3-0 in those big games. Then North Carolina is better on the football aspect. Maybe we should start paying these coaches so they don't go over to South Carolina.
No kidding. I'll be heading down to South Carolina Friday night to see Coach Tommy Knotts go for win 477 in the state championship.
That's crazy. It's probably 300 state championships too.
Yeah, I'm going to see practice this week. Crazy. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to stick it here with you, Coach Greiner. Third question: what is fair? Or what was it fair that a 2-loss Weddington team hosted the undefeated Grimsley team?
It was definitely fair in the aspect that they had a hard schedule, and based upon the RPI and way that they do it, they were the highest seed based upon that. I think it needs to be tweaked. Like I said, a little tweaking can go a long way, and I think the rankings might have been a little bit slightly different where they might have had to travel. I think Weddington's unbelievable, and it doesn't surprise me. I think they had it mapped out, knowing they were going to be the number 1 seed overall, even before they played their last regular season game. I think they had the mathematicians do it and figure it all out and knew that it didn't matter necessarily. They might have played some seniors. They might have did some things that they might not have done normally. And Marvin Rez, creeped up on them and beat them. Still got the number 1 seed overall, and I think they're one of the hardest teams to play against at home. I'd like to see, I don't know the exact stat, but I don't know, like Dale Ross or yourself would know, when's the last time they lost at home? I don't know. Have they lost in a while there?
I'd have to go back.
It wasn't. I don't think last year. Yeah, I had to go back.
Yeah.
Really. Well, yeah. I'd have to go back and look, but it's been a long time since.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're an unbelievable team at home. They're very comfortable, and I think that them getting the number 1 seed overall is tough for everybody right now.
I mean, but I think again the RPI. I think the one time we've seen this not really work was kind of the Weddington Butler situation. But the difference in the RPI was the conference opponents. You look at Marvin Ridge, a Sun Valley team that I think had 8-9 wins this year. I mean, you go through that list. The Porter Ridge team that had 8 wins this year. You go through that conference list within Weddington's conference, and they just had a lot of stellar conference opponents with great records, and that ended up being the difference in the RPI. Again, as Gary already said, fair is a place they judge pigs. And know how Grimsley can get that RPI a little bit higher. Go play somebody. Come down here and play somebody. Come travel, get on that good old bus, leave the beautiful, friendly confines of Jameson Stadium, and come find one of these schools with an open date and come play them. Guarantee you come down here and beat one of our teams, you wouldn't have had to worry about being a 1 seed. And I think that part is what they've got to understand. They came down here because they're playing the teams up there that they're able to maul and beat pretty quickly and pretty efficiently. And I think that's going to be one of those situations. If you want those home games, then do it. Dudley, because with their schedule, didn't play a ton of tough teams as we saw. But what did they do? They went down and beat Crest. I don't think people are going to sit here and complain if you have the capability and the quality to go down there and beat a top team. But until you schedule harder teams on your schedule, you're going to have to be a road warrior. So, oh well.
No
Good
doubt.
point.
Well, I do have one thing to say is that to the layman, if you beat somebody like had Butler won last week, Butler would have been playing at Weddington, the team they beat head to head. And I think it's hard for the average person to understand. Dale, I know this is close to your heart. I'm gonna give you like 30 seconds. Tell us why everybody has it wrong and Weddington should be number one.
Because it's the formula was known going in. They played more teams with winning records. Their opponents played more teams with winning records, and their opponents played more teams with winning records. Thus, they had a bit tougher schedule. Butler beating them, and then Weddington have to host them. That's not a factor that should enter in unless there's a tie. If there's a tie in a situation like we had back, was it Butler and Richmond, if I remember correctly, that they were able to drop the Richmond was able to drop the endowment loss.
Yeah, correct.
Right, and thus they seeded as 10-0.
Yes.
Both of them went 10-0, and Richmond got a higher seed than Butler did, and they played head to head.
But
So
my point is the average person looking at this says Butler beat them head to head. How's Butler on the road? And you start telling OOFs and OOS and all that. I'm just as a layman, I don't understand it.
See, that's one of my concerns. A lot of football people, coaches and all, don't understand what RPI is.
Is it too complex?
But it should.
It's not
it
complex.
Should have some...
It's very simple. It's actually the simplest objective formula that we could use.
It is, no doubt,
it's
but
not
then
the one
it
I
doesn't
would
make
use.
it doesn't. Yeah, it's not correct. There could be one better. Exactly, it's the simplest thing you can use.
It's the
There's
simplest
ways that you can improve it.
There are that they could go to a true strength. So actually use a calculated strength of teams.
I think you shouldn't have a playoff result like that where people are confused by why the team loses on the end of the regular season and has home field. I think what you're saying is true, and I understand it, but I just think most people around the state were just flabbergasted that Weddington was number one. I heard it from so many people, and Weddington has proved they're good enough to be number one with their playoff run.
But Langston, what you would have had to do otherwise would be kind of what was done in the past, and that you start getting subjective human bias brought into. Well,
that's a whole different argument for another day.
Exactly.
I believe in a little human bias. Let's put the big star in his one shot. Sam, what are your final thoughts?
This is going to be a little crazy. This is for Grice, just to hype him up a little bit. But I'm excited to get back to football, and it's that 7-on-7 season coming around the corner. I'm gonna evaluate some 8-man football, and I'm gonna go ahead and mark my words right now. We're gonna have a 2,000-yard passer next year at West Charlotte. So I'm gonna get really involved in this 7-on-7 and evaluate it pretty good.
2,000-yard passer at West Charlotte. We haven't seen that since the '90s, so we definitely won't see that.
You trying to recruit a quarterback?
Something like
No, I got one.
All right, that's Sam. That's Grice. The number 2 voice asking football. That's Chris Hughes. Number 1 voice asking football. Dale Ross, the historian. Gary Richmond, the coach. Cam Williams to get the guru in training. I'm Langston, and we're talking Preps.